Welcome back for our final installment of week 2 lectures. We're going to wrap up a bit with some discussion on notations, musical notations specifically. So what I'm going to use as the example for the conversation is last spring we as the class piece did The Entertainer, and actually let's see if I can quickly get this. I should have had this open. Let's see if I can get it open quickly to find a version. But I think I sent you a version of it where it was in the recorded standing point for it. So let's go here, file open. We'll give it 2 seconds, and if I don't find it right away, we'll move on. Let's see, week 1 sample programs from 2019, that's not going to be there, so one other place, and it's not going to let me get to my shared drive, so we'll skip that for now. I will share it at a later time so you can see how this piece of music transitions over. So what we're going to go into is, let me scroll through. Few commonly noted elements of music. Music is not my thing that I teach normally, but it is part of what I get to teach as a part of this course, which makes it kind of fun. So I'm only going to go into the very basics. If you are a music person and have experience, you probably are more comfortable with this than I have been. Last year we actually had a group of students that none of them really had a musical background, so we got to go back to the basics. So with that, notation at a glance. We have our grand staff, which are our 2 sets of lines. We have this top part and we have this lower part. Then we have our clefs. And I've already, in some of the other videos, I've talked about the treble clef and the bass clef, and those are the 2 main ones that we will be working with. Our key signature, this would be if we have anything that needs to be made into a flat or a sharp. And then we have a time signature. The time signature for us doesn't really matter, because when we transcribe it over, we're still going to use our notes. The main thing is that you keep it in mind when you're actually doing your notations, and that's why we take the time to do like we did with the lab discussion that you're going to do, or the lab discussion that you previously did, and let me find my sample one, where you are noting it down. And so this is where taking the time to actually annotate it on a piece of paper or in a notebook or something, somewhere noted out so that you have it. We've got the key signature, the time signature. Okay, then you'll notice here it actually gave us what our beats per minute are going to be. This is an individual note. The lines in between here are our measures, so that would be, so in this time we're going to have 4 beats within a measure, and then these 5 lines make up our staff. Basic terminology, if you get those down and are able to talk about it when we're transcribing, is really the only time we talk in music terminology. We spend a lot of our time just translating. I don't know, when I was little, Captain Crunch always had these little secret decoder rings that we would get in our cereal and we could do stuff with. Hopefully maybe something like that you received, or Cracker Jack boxes. They had stuff like that too. So we're basically taking this secret language of music, and sheet music in specific, and transcribing it into our secret language of Python programming. And through this course, you're going to get both of those over. But for me personally, what has really helped as I go through this is put my music hat on first, get everything noted out, and then I put my actual my programming hat on. So I don't know if you can see this, but that's what I've done here, and I should actually scan this in for you. You're going to see all my little notations under here, and by doing this, when I started typing things in, it saved me from having to go back and forth from music thinking over to coding. And it was something that through the years of doing this, I have found to be my cheat sheet. So that's our first piece of information for this. The anatomy of a note. This is the head of the note, this is the stem. Once we get into eighths and sixteenths, we'll sometimes have the little flag, and sometimes there's double flags. We will also have notes like over here in the entertainer where there's a bar across or a double bar across. That just equates into these, which I'll show you here in just a second. So the big or the main notes that you're going to encounter right now with the week 2 labs is the whole note, which is just a circle and it's empty. That's 4 beats. Then you have the half note, which is empty, but it has a stick or a stem up on it. So that's 2 beats if we have 4 beats per measure. And then we have our quarter note, which is 1/4 of that. So it's actually our 1 beat per 4 measures in there. Here then we get into our 1/8, 16th notes. And so this again is with just the 1 flag. That's an 1/8 note. And then you've got the 16th note if it's got the double flag. And the same thing with these. This is my single line across. So this is 2/8 notes. And then you've got some 16th notes. And so when you've got multiple things happening in here. The same thing transitions on over to our rest. Here we have our 1/8 rest and our 16th rest. It's still got the little flag. It stays consistent. And then if you're going up from your notes, this is also a nice little cheat sheet version of it. And I don't know if that would help for me to actually put on that cheat sheet, but some of it already is on there where you are noting that. It just is, I have some overlap happening at the middle part of it. So hopefully that helps. This to me was the best little graphic as you start thinking about it. So a whole note is my 4 beats. My half note is half of that, so 2 and 2. Quarter note is 1 beat each. My 1/8 note, no matter how it's annotated, whether it's with a single bar across, whether it's got the 1 flag, whatever, it's all exactly the same. It's going to be half a beat of 1 beat. And then your 16th is a quarter of that. And here again, it shows all the different ways it can be annotated. This was a nice little cheat sheet for, especially for the students that in the past have not had musical backgrounds. Then here again, this shows it with the rest, same type of structure as we just had. And then here is that flat and that sharp that I mentioned. So if I was doing a C4 and I wanted to go sharp, try to think with my piano if I have a C. Yep, so I can go sharp because there's a black key up. It would be CS4, and you're just putting that S in there for that. If I wanted to make my D flat, which would be the same as my C sharp 4, I would just do D, F, and then the 4. So it's just, you go down, and it's literally just an F or an S that we stick in. That is our crash course into musical notation. When we're looking over here, that's what we're looking for. Is right now we're not going to worry about the slurs or any of the repeats. You do want to pay attention, so this would be a sharp. So this would be me looking at my cheat sheet. So this is a D4, so it would actually be a DS4. And then the same thing down here. This one I'm looking at this is a B3. And so since that's a flat, I would make it a BF3. And so it becomes 3 characters instead of 2 characters. Let me pause this and I will go find my entertainer, and that way then I can show you how this transcribes over. So let me pause this recording and I'll be right back. All right, well, welcome back. I found it. So this is the page 1 code. Let's see if I can get that to scroll here just a little bit to, let's see how far out. I definitely need to hit some enters there. Let me just stick back here though with the first couple of these then. So what you'll see is I did this as a score. So I've set this up with my entertainer score. I have just a treble part and a bass part. This is the structure that when we first started going, we found to be the most successful. And so when you're working on your own projects, and as we get into project 1, I would recommend first adding just those 2 basic parts. And once you get through our class selected one, you're going to feel so much more confident on trying to decide what's going to be best for your individual piece of music you're going to select, that it's going to make more sense. And so what we can do is we can look at some of those samples from previous semesters and talk about why certain students decided to go the way they did with it. because there was always a strategic reason for it. So with this, we've got our treble, and both of them are in the piano. So if I hit, and this is page 1, so this is the very first iteration of it. You'll notice it's rather slow. As I went along, I started revising that. And I guarantee there's going to be some glitches in here that were fixed later on. I was really happy with this. I was tempted to have us do it again because it was really kind of fun. So with that being said, let me just scroll down. What we did is the whole purpose of coming in here. So you're going to see that when we're looking at this treble part here, this right here is my D6. This is my E6 then. And then I also have a C6. And so this is actually the, let's see, this is the easy part of it. Okay, what I did though was so this here is the rest, because we do have this down here as a rest. I did choose, why do I not have 2 notes playing at once? Because this is not the same sheet music that we actually worked with. This was a later version. This should actually be noted as the hard version, because you'll notice up here it is actually noted as hard. So we did just choose one of the lines then in this case, but we are looking for instances. So let's see, let's actually see if I can find a flat in here, just so that you're here we go. Here's A flat 2, so you've got that. Here's an A flat 3, and the sharp would just be putting an S instead of that. You're going to see that I have some chords in here. I have some rests, which we haven't really talked about, but it's the same as a pitch. If there's a rest, you just replace the pitch with that. So now I can mark that off our list. Here I did end up with some that are a bunch of chords, chord, right after each other. So starting to add some elements of complexity. And let me just for the sake of sharing, I did grab this. So you'll notice I did end up with different iterations. So when we started the course, this was the first version. Well, no, this was actually the final version that I ended up with. And let me open that up, because that is my version 3. I'd encourage you to save stuff as different versions as well. And that way then, as you go, if something gets messed up, you can always go back. So let me open this though. Let's listen to it. Here we go, we picked up the pace. It is being performed as part of an educational institution's class under fair use. And now it's going into the repeat. I'm telling you, that was just so much fun to program, but I think you're going to enjoy our song that I've selected for our class just as much. At least I hope so, because it's about, I figure it's equivalent to what the entertainer actually was. So with that, hopefully you now have a little better sense of the notations. You've got some repeats happening here. Please reach out as a class, and this is where taking a snippet or a picture of your question and then using that general questions forum. Collaborate with us. Some of you might have more musical skills than other. Use the discussion area. Please, 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 please do not take the conversations offline, because the best part of this class is when your peers are seeing they're not alone with what they're working on. And that's where hopefully through our lab discussions and our regular discussions and the general questions forum, there will be enough conversation happening within the classroom that we're able to transition a little bit away from our weekly meetings. That is the goal, but it is going to take us a while to get to that point because you have to become comfortable sharing stuff within the resources in D2L. And the neat thing about that is it means you can do this work anytime you want. So if you at 11 o'clock at night just really want to get into your music, you can, as long as you put your headphones on and aren't disturbing roommates or anyone else on your floor or your apartment buildings or wherever you're living. Because I'm telling you, it does get a bit addictive, and it is a lot of fun as you get into those nuances. You start being able to hear when you're not right on track. So I hope that you get to that point and have some fun with this. So with that, move on to the lab Dropbox where you are doing a piece of music. Nothing like this. It's a simple piece of music with a treble and a bass clef. So you will actually need to have some parts in there. And you can, if you would like, bring it into a score. So if you would like to add the score, but don't feel like you have to. Although if you're working with parts, you do actually have to, because you have to be able to bring them together. So experiment with it, use the example that I gave you as a guide, and reach out, schedule a Q&A session if you absolutely get stuck and want to talk something through, or even just want to discuss your options. Let me know. That's what I'm here for. Those are the conversations I truly enjoy. Have a great rest of your week.